Welcome to Carole Nash. Welcome to the launch of KTM's 990 RCR. Now this is a bike we've been eagerly anticipating. It's a bike we've seen nearly 18 months ago in a kind of prototype style, and it's a bike that realistically should have been launched last year. But due to the complications that KTM have been through recently, which are well documented, it's been a little bit of a delay, but it has been worth waiting for. What KTM have done is given us a unique opportunity because they're very confident in their product. Not only have they launched the bike on track here in Seville, but they've also given us a full day on the road. So let me give you a little rundown of what to expect from KTM's new middleweight sports bike. It's entering that market with the Panigale V2. It's entering that market with Yamaha's R9. In terms of power and torque, we're looking at 128 bhp at 9,500 RPM, 103 newton meters at 6,750 RPM. That's a lot of torque. That's a lot of torque low down and class leading torque in this category. We've got a 6-axis IMU, which is connected to multiple rider aids. We've got 4 different ABS settings. We've got multiple rider modes, which are easily accessible from this beautiful 8.8 TFT dash, which is absolutely huge. It's actually touchscreen and you've got built-in navigation in there. You don't have to download an app, you don't have to connect your phone, it's already on the bike. Brembo high pure, top of the range brakes as you'd expect, MCS levers, so everything is fully adjustable, WP suspension, front and back, big 48mm forks. The frame is different, the swinging arm is different, the wheelbase, the offset is completely different to the Duke 990. This is not a Duke 990 in a fancy frock, this is completely and utterly different. The bodywork is obviously inspired by MotoGP. I love the wings, which are designed not really to work on road, but to work on track when the speed increases. And that's what KTM tell us. So what have we had the opportunity to do? Well, we've had a full day on the road. And when you look at the bike, you look at the aggressive nature of the bike, you expect it to be kind of like a rigid, solid race bike on the road. And it really isn't. I was really surprised by the ergonomics. The bars are nice and wide, the seat is actually comfortable, the suspension, WP, fully adjustable, never touched a thing. Wouldn't say it's soft, but it's very much a road bike, not a race bike. The bodywork is actually quite decent, the screen is reasonably high, the pegs are adjustable, we've got them on the road setting or you can move them up to a track setting. I was really surprised, even the dash, which at first looks a little bit intimidating, and this new switchgear, simple, easy to use. After lunch, we were allowed to have a free ride. We just followed the built-in sat-nav. Very simple, very straightforward, very easy to follow. The switchgear is absolutely excellent. You can change the modes on the fly, you can change the traction on the fly, and if you switch something off in the custom mode, it stays off. There's none of that switching it back on, going through 10 menus, spending half an hour looking at a menu to work out how to switch things off. It's all done. And then when we flick to the track, which has been today, we've changed the tyres for these Michelin track day slicks. They're not full-on World Superbike slicks. They're designed to be used without tyre warmers on a track. So they're just a track day tyre, although a good one. This morning I wanted to start off in a standard street mode, then move to track, then customise and then play with the suspension, because that's what you do on a track. In the standard street mode, all that usability, all the friendliness, all that torque is amplified on track. It was so easy to ride at a medium to fast track day pace. It doesn't feel fast, but is fast. The difference between that mode and track mode is significant. Even though we've got 128 horsepower, when you change the mode, the throttle response change, everything changes, it feels more alive, it feels more lively. There's a lovely soundtrack and a lovely burble on the exhaust on the overrun. And then later in the day, we start to play with the suspension. We added a bit of preload, changed the compression slightly, just give it a little bit more taut, made the suspension more compliant to be with track, but I actually left the pegs in the standard road. I didn't move them up to the track because I'm a little bit, well, I just want a roomy riding position, and that's what it does. On track, the lap times came. The lap times are actually pretty good. What's interesting is, even though we've got that GPS system, there's not an automatic lap timer, so you have to flick the lap timer with your thumb, which is a bit of a slight negative, but the lap times have proved really impressive. It's kind of a bit deceptive because there's so much torque, and like peak torque is below 7,000 RPM, that you're always in that mid-range, like driving it. There's corners here where I would normally be in second or first, I'm using third. I'm just using that mid-range. So it doesn't feel fast, but is fast. The brakes are strong. They're not race brakes, even though they're the top end high pure Brembo items. I thought they'd be a little bit stronger, but they had no fade. They were extremely strong, really good. Towards the end of the day, the tyres started to go off a little bit, so I added a little bit of traction control. That controlled the slide. That gave me a little bit of a safety net, which is ideal and perfect for new riders. Thoroughly enjoyable. If I was going to criticise the bike in any way, on the road, the mirror's not the best. And on road, on track, I would like to play with the engine braking a little bit. A few times I thought it freewheeled into the corner like a two-stroke a little bit too much. I would actually like it to hold the bike a little bit, but that's a personal preference. I personally like the styling, I personally like the looks, and I like the fact they've copied this MotoGP styling and MotoGP inspired style. It kind of reminds me of when special bikes look like world superbikes, like brilliant bikes like Yamaha's FZR 750 RRSP, or the little NC35 that look like an RC45. It looks like a mini MotoGP bike, and it looks like it's a hardcore bike, but it's actually not. It's actually very user-friendly, an excellent road bike that can cut it on track. Bikes are going to be available pretty shortly in the UK. The base bike starts off at 13,499, and then you obviously get your demo pack, and after 1,000 miles, you decide what you want to do. You decide what accessory you want. That'll be a big talking point below, but please fire some questions if you want to know any more technical details about the bike. KTM needed to come out the traps absolutely running. They needed to come out in the first round wingmilling, and they've done it. It's a really impressive road bike that can cut it on track. The big question mark, and it is a big one, will be how does it compare to the Panigale and the R9? That is going to be interesting.